Hi guys, and welcome to Blind Pick, the show based on League of Legends that brings you news, analysis, reviews, and everything in between. I am Rage Gamer Jay, and with me we've got Zyronex and Kazzimox. How you doing, guys?
Hello there, I'm doing good. How are you doing, Jay?
Can't complain, can't complain. How about you, Zyronex? How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, man. Awesome.
So, this is a brand new podcast. This is the first episode, and we're quite excited to do it, see how things go. And we've got a very, very broad spectrum of League of Legends players here. Myself, I'm sadly in Bronze 5. I've only been playing about a month, so I'm a pretty brand new League of Legends player. And I thought before we start the actual topic of today, we'll just go over what our experiences are in League of Legends. So, how long have you guys been playing League for?
Well, we started somewhere in Season 2 together. We were 3 friends, me, Alex, and another guy. And then we kind of got, I think I got personally to level 15. Alex got a little bit higher, possibly to level 20. And then we stopped playing for some reason. We just didn't enjoy the game as much back in the days. And then we came back in early Season 3 again. So, and we've been playing actively ever since, with short breaks sometimes.
So what about you, Zyronex? What are your experiences in terms of what's the highest division you've actually reached? What's the heights you've soared?
Gold 1 before I quit.
Gold 1. Look at that, and it's that. Looking at that is like as a bronze guy, I'm pretty sure they're going to literally create a new league, a new division just for me, which is going to be like wood or lower class metal or something like that, like
Dust.
Yeah, dust, or they're just going to kick me out of rank. They're going to log in one day and Riot's going to change my level back to level 1. Being like, you need to play a few more normal games. So, funny enough, the choice of subject for our first ever episode is very apt, and it is why are League of Legends players so toxic? And the reason this works pretty well right now is me being in the Bronze Division. Kazzimox is currently in Silver 1, and Zyronex is in Gold 5. So we've played a few games over these leagues over the last couple of days or weeks or years. Who knows? So we know what each division's players are like. So guys, I mean, shoot first. What are your main concerns, experiences with toxicity within League of Legends?
You want to start, Consta?
Well, I mean, I encounter toxicity daily, most of the time. I actually see toxicity mostly in normal games, because in ranked games people are more willing to do something, or most of the people. Of course, there are plenty of exceptions of people who lost 5 games in a row, and at this point they just don't care. But it's at some point it's even worse that there are more toxicity in normal games, because the new players like Jay, players who come in normals to practice, they encounter so much hate for their mistakes, so much harassment, and it's really wrong in my opinion. But on the other hand, when I see that fucktard who goes Tryndamere mid, cooldown reduction, sometimes I can get really frustrated. So at some point I understand why people rage, but yeah, kind of like that.
Nice. What about you, Zyronex?
I don't see that much toxicity. Oh, fuck. I fucked up.
Which
I don't
fuck
see
you,
that much toxicity in my games, because I normally play with 5 people now that the dynamic queue is up. Before, I encountered a lot of toxicity, and I was a really toxic person myself. I got a ban, so I learned of my mistakes. And yeah, I can get frustrated if I lose 5 in a row. I simply don't care, as Consta said. But I try. When I see someone toxic, I'm trying to speak to them. If it doesn't work, I have to mute, so I don't tilt myself or get mad.
Yeah, it's always a good idea.
Yeah. Me and Jay, you remember Kazzimox, right?
Yeah, yep.
We got him banned, which is sad but good enough. I hope he is thinking about it now, that he should stop being that toxic. I got really tilted myself that day. I couldn't really play.
Yeah, and this was about what time? It was ridiculously early in the morning we were playing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like something like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah,
And,
something like that.
Yeah, it was just like, it was maybe our third game in. Now, me and Zyronex, we actually met when I was in ranked placements. So, you know, I'm a very competitive video game player. So when I have the opportunity to do a ranked game, I kind of forget normals exist. I'm just like, I want to do ranked. I want to get to fucking plat. I want to get to diamond. And so I just started doing ranked games, and I think I was on like my 6th loss out of 6 games in placements, and the toxicity was real. It was bad. I mean, I'm pretty sure if League of Legends players' wishes came true, then I don't think there's a member of my family that won't have cancer at this point, because the amount of wishing that cancer was upon me and my family was absolutely unreal. But Zyronex was the one dude that literally added me as a friend after the game and was like, come into some normals, and he's been guiding me since. And you know, I've noticed myself getting better slowly at some point, but still I'm stuck in bronze 5. And the worst thing for me that I've noticed being in this division is the ever fateful loading screen before you go into the Summoner's Rift, and you see you're in bronze 5 and you see people pop up with the silver frames. That scares me the most, because when you see the silver frames, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but when you see the silver frames, you instantly know they're also in bronze 5, but they used to be silver in the previous season. So they instantly think that they're still silver players, yet they have to be in bronze 5 for a reason. Therefore, you know going into that game that they're going to give you shit if you make even a simplest mistake. I don't know what you guys think about that, if you've experienced that in your divisions.
Yeah, I have. In Season 3, when I finally got to level 30, I was so hyped for rank games. So the first thing me and Consta did when we reached level 30, we went in a duo queue together. The first game was a victory, so we thought it's going to be okay. There was not so much flaming in that game, so we thought, okay, this is going to be a nice 10 promo games. So the next game, that basically went to hell. I started feeding, Consta started feeding, people started flaming, and that's just how it went. He took a break, while I was too hyped, but still nervous to play because of this last game I took. I just went out, played more and more and more, finished my promo games. I got to bronze 1. I was not happy about it, but I still tried. So every day I was nervous to go in a game because of this toxicity that I had to meet now, because I knew that I will make mistakes because I'm bad at this game. I just started playing.
Yeah.
And yet I'm a little bit afraid of going in games. But now that we can have 5-man pre-made, it's much better, trust me.
And I think the crazy thing is as well is that I honestly believe that the toxicity and maturity come into play. I mean, my name in game is Rage Gamer J, and everyone assumes that, you know, I mean I do rage, and I do rage a lot, but I never rage at other people. So if anyone watches my streams and my YouTube videos, they'll probably see that, you know, behind the screen there's me effing and blinding. I mean, I broke my mouse the other day in a ranked game, and it's literally being held together with this stuff called No More Nails. And I get really angry. The funny thing is, it's not angry because I'm losing. I'm not that bad. Like if I'm losing, then I feel that the other team's got the credit. What I get angry about and I rage about is that, you know, certain people aren't doing their jobs. Like, you know, I believe, like, this is coming from maybe new experience to League of Legends, is that the jungler should be ganking, like, at least after level 3 or 4. That's when they should start. Yeah, I play games where, you know, I won't, top or bottom lane will not see a single gank, and whenever they do come down, they're doing it when we're already pushing the lane, so there's no way to actually get a decent gank in there, and it's just like there's no communication, and and that's when I get angry. It's like, we've got basically, if you lose a game, you lose LP, and I got demoted to bronze 5 from bronze 4, which is where I got placed, and it was mainly because people weren't communicating, they weren't doing their roles. I mean, even myself. I mean, I'm not completely free of blame. I mean, I started out mainly playing ADC, and I found myself too scared in ranked games to be aggressive, so I wasn't getting many kills, and then obviously that makes me an easy target later on. But I never flamed at people for having a bad game or for not doing their roles. I just tried to tell them in a very calm way. And maybe it's because I'm 27 years old. I don't want to tell someone to go get cancer. I just, it's a fucking video game, man. It's like, it's not like they've personally if they punch my mum, then fair enough. But like, maybe just because I lost my lane, don't give me cancer, dude. Like, I think that's a bit excessive, and I don't know. It just seems that, that's the main reason I tilt. Like, I could lose 5 games in a row, and maybe I'd be a bit down, but I wouldn't tilt if it weren't for the flamers.
There's one thing I used to say, like, you don't have to get mad, you don't have to play competitive until you at least reach Gold 1. Because that's where you're actually going to start climbing. And you don't have to get mad. Get mad at yourself, but you don't have to get mad at your teammates, because you're just going to lose if you do that.
Yeah.
Well,
like, I don't see a problem losing 10 LP in a game.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Well, the thing is, it really depends on how you take the game, because at some point for me, League of Legends was like the main thing in life. The only thing I wanted was to reach gold or plat. But some people, in fact, a good friend of mine, he plays for fun. He is a bit higher division than me, but he just plays what he likes. He doesn't try hard, and that way it's easier to stay calm, because you're having fun playing
that's what
the
I'm
game.
doing too.
Yeah.
As I'm saying, like, I'm building off meta and things like that because I'm having fun, and at the same time I'm not feeding because nobody's flaming me.
Yeah.
I'm focused in the game. Nobody's flaming. Everything's good.
Well, then again, Riot with the dynamic queue, they kind of want us players to play with friends, because you get bonus IP, you get the role you want, and everything. So I guess the best way to counter toxicity in League of Legends is actually just to play with your friends.
Yeah, I mean, but that's easier said than done. I mean, for example, I have one friend who plays League of Legends, and he probably plays an hour or 2 a night, and that's fine. I mean, I'll play with him whenever I can. But the thing is that, say, for example, you're so far ahead of me that it's either going to be a case of you guys create Smurfs and get to level 30, or I improve greatly and catch up to you guys. I mean, and it's kind of hard. I mean, I was in a pre-made today with there's 4 of us, and we were decent enough to win a few games in a row, and it was cool. But it's very hard to find pre-made players in Bronze 5, because just because you've won a game and then you take it into the next game, just like you can have an off game and have a bad game, you can also have a really good game, which is like really. I mean, I do it with Lucian all the time. Like, some games I'll play, I'll be like, bloody 10 and like 2 or something like that, and then another game I'll play is I'm 3 and bloody 8. It's kind of like, it's a bit hit and miss. So it's kind of like getting a pre-made in Bronze 5 is almost, to me, pure luck. And it's like, then once, I don't know about you, but I find that if you're in a pre-made, you don't flame each other. So because you've invited that person into a game, it's almost like you've got this like bond that in the next game, even if I do something really stupid, we're gonna stay solid. But then you lose that next game. It's kind of like, well, I kind of don't want to play with these people anymore because what they done was really bad, and you've already got them on your friends list, and then they'll message you every like couple of hours, being like, "Oh, fancy a game," and it's kind of like, but I kind of scared because that one game was really, really, really bad. Like, I mean, there was a point when I carried a fucking team with Cho'Gath and, we still lost, but we nearly won. And it's just like, I felt really good about my playing, but then I was just like, I can't go into this group of people again because, like, there was only one other person in that, and that was the guy that wasn't even in our party. That's the guy that got drafted in, like, by chance, and it's kind of like So I don't know if it's the same again in silver and in gold, whether it's easier to find pre-mades or not.
Well, I think it's a bit easier to find pre-mades in silver, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and PewDiePie, that's a professional League of Legends player. He once said on his stream that he doesn't want to play competitive League of Legends anymore, which means the LCS, because you need to be a very harsh person when it comes to having a team. If someone is bad, you just have to like straight up tell him, you're bad, you're trash, get out of the team, you're shit, like you're not playing with us. And it can be really hard, it can be really frustrating to tell people that, especially if you're a very nice guy, like Kazzimox and Zyronex. But because of that, a lot of people prefer to play alone.
Yeah.
Like, completely alone, just solo queue. And I actually know one guy that, no, actually two guys that reached Diamond like that. Like, all alone, not duo queuing with anyone at all. But that, I guess, it's just way more fun to play with friends.
Yeah, definitely.
It's less playing. You can like play however you want to, and that's better. That's much better.
I mean, for me as well, like, I honestly, I mean, going back to the maturity thing, I think a lot of flamers are, I don't know, for me, I always, whenever someone flames me and says something like, fuck you, like the Kazakhs we had, it's like, yeah, fucking boot lane, you fucking boot lane. It's like, report, feeders,
When like 9 guys or 8 guys says to him that we're reporting you,
yeah,
and he's like, yeah, report boot lane.
And it's like, I feel, whenever I read, because obviously we're not on Skype or anything with that guy, it's literally, you're reading his text. I instantly think, like, to myself, depending on the time of day, like, if it's like in the middle of the day, I'm thinking, yo, ain't you got school? Like, what? Ain't you, like, how old are you? Like, are you 12? I instantly think that. Like, I always associate toxicity with, like, someone that's like 12 or 13. And I don't know whether that's whether there are like lots of toxic older players, or if it is the case that it's the younger generation. Because I remember when, I mean, I'm 27, so I was about 12 or 13 when online games started really taking off. Mm-hmm. I remember having a PS2 with this internet thing you stuck in the back of it basically, and I remember like the first time I had a headset and playing online, and people weren't as toxic, and that was even when the original Xbox came out with Xbox Live. When that first came out, that was like revolutionary. I remember playing games like Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and even though you were mic'd people, it was none of this like your mum this or your mum that. But I do wonder whether it's like the younger generation of gamers coming in that are bringing this sort of toxicity. So I don't know if you guys ever feel the same, or do you think it is like some 49-year-old guy that's depressed because his wife just left him and he can't get a hard on? I don't know.
Well, yeah, continue.
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay, so personally, I've met a lot of kids who were flaming. Like, back in the days, me and Zyronex, we used to play on EU Nordic and East, which was probably, personally, my worst experience in League of Legends. And I remember we met this one kid, I don't really remember what country he was from, but he was barely speaking English, and he really enjoyed playing with us, and we thought, like, it's a kid, yeah, let's be nice to him, let's play with him. And the only thing he was doing, he was begging Zyronex to buy him skins, and when we were playing together, he was saying, "Get cancer to everyone."
Oh,
It was like his hobby. Well, at some point, I don't think that kids bring the toxicity into the game. Because, you know, kids, they most of the time just look at other people saying something and they just pick up those words and everything. But I don't know, to be honest. I think it's kind of both. There might be that one 49-year-old guy, his wife just left him. I think that's possible.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just strikes me as weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. There have been times where I have flamed people in video games, but it's more generally retaliation because I didn't know how to handle people flaming me, so I instantly thought about flaming back until I figured out a really easy thing. And this is before Zyronex told me about the mute function. So. But my easy way of doing it was just trolling them back. Just like they would say something, and I'd just reply with, "Oh, are you mad? Are you gonna cry? Are you gonna be sad now?" Like that, and just stuff like that. And you know, I just stay calm, and that affects people more than I feel like flaming them back. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna flame back to someone, and they're not gonna sit in their desk chair after the game thinking, I've got to rethink my whole life now. I might get cancer from a League of Legends wish. Like, that's not going to happen. So at the end of the day, the best way to do it is just, you know, let the guy flame, let him get reported. And the funny thing is that half the time they end up flaming in /all as well. So, you know, half the time the other team are going to fucking report that shit. You know, and like that Kazzimox, I mean, I'm sad because we got reported in that game by him, so we got a message saying that, oh, you've been reported. We don't tolerate certain behaviour in League of Legends, even though we've done nothing wrong. It's just because we got reported. But apparently the guy that we were playing with got the message saying that so-and-so has been banned, we take your reports very seriously, blah, 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 all of this. And I kind of hope that it was for like a day ban or a week ban, rather than being like one of those, oh, you're now in a 15-minute queue for 5 games. Do you know what I mean? I want him to, I want him to actually sit there and think, like, it's just a game, bro. Like, at the end of the day, like, if you lose this game, you're not gonna like, it's not gonna be the end of your life. It's not like your dad's gonna come bounding up the stairs with a belt, being like, I see you've lost LP, boy. Bend over, I'm going to give you a good old whipping on the hiney. It's like, you know, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not going to change his life. It really isn't. In fact, what it's going to do is it's going to end the game quicker because everyone's going to tilt, they're going to surrender, and he's going to actually be down for dinner when mummy calls him at a reasonable time, rather than being like, sorry mum, can't, I'm in a ranked game with this awesome team. Do you know what I mean? It's like, actually, we're doing this guy a life favour. Let him flame, let us surrender. Let's just get on with it. And I mean, yeah, I can't be bothered with these people that flame. There's no reason for it. It doesn't get you anywhere. It's pointless. It actually does nothing. It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make me feel better shouting at someone. If anything, I feel like a dick if I've done it.
Yeah. Like the moment you flame is the moment you won't reach anywhere.
Well, the thing is,
because you gotta look at your own mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that people, or most of the time, start raging at the point where they understand that they cannot rely on their teammates and they can't do anything themselves either. So it's kind of, I would call it a lack of skill, just straight up, because even if you're losing the game, but I don't know, your mid laner won his lane very hard, and he has a lot of kills, he does a lot of damage. I think that most of the time those people try to stay calm and try to do something, carry. Those people are the ones who click no on the surrender button, even though if you clearly see that the game is lost, because they still have hope in themselves. So I think most of people just start flaming when they realize that, man, I can't do shit. But that's just because you're bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like what I like what both you guys say about that, because I was watching it was a 3-part sort of I wouldn't call it a documentary, but it was Cloud9's Road to the World Championships.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they had just come off of like being placed like 7th or something ridiculous like that, and they were in like a really bad time, and they managed to get to Worlds, and it was basically covering all of that. And I think it was C9 Sneaky, I think it was him, I can't remember 100%, but was saying that, you know, the best thing to do after a really bad loss is not to blame the players you were playing with, but to have a look back at your individual mistakes you made.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like I notice that I do silly stuff, like if my support gets carried away and gets killed, rather than and then I go in thinking, all right, do you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go in and try and get a kill here, knowing that it's like virtually impossible in a 2v1 situation, and I die. Instead of them thinking to myself, oh fuck this support man, look he's dying, I kind of think to myself, I should have gone back, and that's where I can correct the next time. But if you flame someone, you instantly, I think you do it they do it to try and make themselves feel a bit better, like, oh, that was completely out of my hands, you know what I mean? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
they do it to kind of make themselves feel better, yet what they're actually doing is they're hindering their development.
Well, yeah, they're trying to convince themselves that they are good, and it was just the team and no one else.
Yeah, and I mean, you also get that thing as well. Like, and I know this bothers Zyronex as well. Is when you notice someone's having a bad game, you flame them, and then they're instantly asking people to report that person. It's like you can't, like, and I know you say this a lot, is you can't report someone for a bad game. Do you know what I mean? It's like arresting a footballer because he missed an open goal. You know, you can't do that. And you know, I think that as good as the report system is for catching like bad behaviour and AFKing and stuff, I think there needs to be like more thorough checks by Riot about people that are reporting, people that are abusing the report button.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, because it's getting ridiculous. Like, maybe give a limit to how many reports you can make a day or something like that, you know, unless it's a strict violation. So, you know, you can report unsportsmanlike conduct like 5 times a day if you think someone is, or intentional feeding if you actually think they're doing it, but you can only do that 5 times a day. But if they're being racist, then you can do that as much as you want, and then Riot can check the chat logs. Because I think at the moment people are now abusing that report function to basically just report. Every time someone has a bad game, every time someone like says that, oh, this is lost, do you know what, I feel like giving up, or I'm tilting. It's like, I think it's over abused.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Well, I agree on that. People have been abusing reports ever since they came out. And before they reworked the report system, there was a section where you could report player for being bad.
Wow.
And they removed it, but from my point of view, I actually think that they should have kept it, because it's a nice thing that you can just report someone for being bad, kind of releasing your anger and getting that yes feeling for yourself without actually any consequences to the other player. Because a lot of people in League of Legends just feel the must that, like, fuck, we lost the game, I have to report my team. So it would be better. But on the other hand, I think that Riot did a good job, because they made a system that is searching for keywords in game chats after the game if you reported a guy.
Yeah.
So if he was swearing or saying racist things, they can actually see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily those people will be punished. Because I've personally have gotten the message about you have been recently reported, you need to improve your behavior a lot of times. But I have never been banned or chat restricted or anything, because I don't really flame in my games or be racist or nothing like that.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, let's wrap this up now. This little conversation, and let's go around the circle, and we'll start with you, Kazzimox. What do you think that Riot can do to improve or restrict people being toxic?
Well, to be honest, it's a really hard question because actually most of the games have toxicity in them, so it's kind of hard to stop it. But Riot actually already did a really good job by trying to convince people to playing with friends and adding that system I was talking about. I don't really... And then again, they are giving people free skins or champions by the end of the season if you were a nice guy, if you weren't reported or chat restricted or banned, and if you were a bad person in League, toxic, you might lose your rank and your border, your victorious skin, all of those things, and previous rank rewards. So I think they have done everything they could, but like everyone is talking about League of Legends community like we're not a part of it, but we are the ones who make it toxic. And like if we want to make a change, we have to start changing ourselves, basically, like that. I just don't think Riot can do anything more than they already have, because they earn money of League of Legends. They need people to be playing it. They can't just ban everyone who said fuck or I fucked your mom.
Yeah.
Because they're just not going to earn anything. So, yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think Riot improved a lot.
Cool. So what do you think, Zyronex? What do you think? There's anything that could be improved or?
No, not really. I think the system is great, and that same thing Kasa said. I don't think that Riot can do anything. I think that people just have to change themselves.
Yeah.
And just look at the game one more time. Look what they did, and just improve by playing normal games with some friends.
Yeah. And
look at some guides and just simply change. That's all.
So my only thing to add before we wrap this up is that what I like to do is, being quite a new player, is if I've say just woken up, or if I've finished playing for the day, or if I'm tilting, I tend to spectate like one of you guys' games, or go on YouTube and watch like some of the World Championship games, and I try and look at games which involve my champions that I like to play, and I try and see what they do and how they perform, and and you're right in what you say. I do think that the only way change is going to happen is within ourselves. I think that the community in general needs to be more accepting of new players, of players of lower rank. I think that it's difficult because you have all these players coming in, like myself, that if it wasn't maybe for my age or my experience with online video games, it's that they see people flaming them that have been in the community since Season 1, Season 2, even some people beta, and they see them flaming. So they instantly think that, oh, that's the behaviour to have. It's kind of like having an older brother, If your older brother, if you always see him after school bullying other kids, you're going to grow up to one day be a bully, Or if he bullies you, you're going to grow up to be a bully. It's kind of like setting an example. And I think if some of the bigger players make this a highlighted thing, and even if they chuck out a YouTube video, like one member of every team, can you imagine if he says, "Oh, do you know what got me at the World Championships? Do you know what got me into DreamHack? It was because I was a nice fucking guy. That's why my team found me, because I had okay skills and I was alright at the game, but they liked me as a person." And I guarantee the kids, the fucking people my age, the people older, they'll look at that and they'll watch that and think, oh wow, maybe I could actually do better if I was actually a bit nicer, because then my team would want to work for me, And yeah, it's all about changing from within, and I put my stamp of approval on that. And I hope it happens before the next 5 minutes when I go into another ranked game. So yeah, I mean, I think we've covered all bases, and I think we can probably wrap up the show now. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Any,
I think that's it.
any final words?
Yo, I'm Zyronex.
GGFF at 20.
We need your rap, Consta. We need you to rap for us.
Not this time. Next time, possibly.
Next time, is this gonna be the special? We're gonna build it up over a few episodes of what is Consta's mystery rap. Let me tell you guys, it's fucking awesome. The first time I heard it, I was pretty much laughing my ass off. I'd spoken to him for all about, I think it was about 2.5 minutes, and then he just started rapping, and I was like, who the fuck is that, Lil Wayne? Like, so, all right, guys. Well, that's been episode 1 of Blind Pick. Where we spoke about toxicity, ranks, divisions, meeting new people, not flaming, and everything in between. We're going to try and do an episode a week, as long as our schedules allow for that. And I'm sure you guys want to continue doing this because it's actually quite fun. It's just like talking to each other, and people get to hear our lovely voices.
Yeah.
While they're on the toilet, dropping mean shit. They can just listen to us talk about League of Legends. But for that, I've been Rage Gamer J, and with me as always is Kazzimox and Zyronex. So
IG Zyronex.
Alright guys, have an awesome day.